The social inequality in Korean society is also exacerbated by the gender aspect, which is vividly presented in Chang-dong's film Burning. There is no country for women, says the young female promoter of the store Hemi worked with at the beginning of the film. In doing so, she draws attention to the fact that women are often expected to change their personality, body, and space to meet the needs of the others. Jong-soo's situation in Lee Chang-dong's film is depressing. He has no job. He has to sell the last property of the family farm. His written petition does not save his father from trial and imprisonment. He lost and unsuccessfully searches for his beloved girlfriend. However, Hemi's story is even worse. She disappears without a trace, and no one is looking for her, except for Jong-soo, neither the police nor the family. Even before her disappearance, she severed ties with her family and preferred an independent life. Everyone thinks that she spent her savings while traveling abroad, and her rich young boyfriend Ben turns out to be a serial killer, which is not proven but not excluded. Hemi's disappearance is a natural extension of her pantomime, her desire to satisfy the great hunger, which she tells Jong-soo about at the beginning of the film. All this tells the viewer about Hemi's inability to live in a real cruel world. Throughout the film, she does not live the fairy tale world of her fantasies. The social phase in Korea consists not only of a good education, financial situation, but also an impeccable appearance. Journalist Daniel Tudor, referring to the opinion of a Korean professor from Yonsei University, writes, Koreans feel that their image should be perfect, and they want to be not only successful and worthy of respect in the eyes of others, but also seem better than others. The creation of the image is carried out including through the consumption of luxury goods and plastic surgery. The image of Hemi is surprisingly close to the description of the female character from the story Burn the Barn by Haruki Murakami. Murakami describes her this way. She seemed to think that age, family, income are the same purely hereditary things as foot size, voice timbre, or shape of nails, about the main character who was engaged in pantomime. Such a description corresponds to the passive, fatal role of women in society. She lives by her dreams, her imagination, as if she is swimming with the current that carries her in an unknown direction. As British sociologist Zygmunt Bauman writes, the poor do not have a separate culture that is different from the culture of the rich. They are forced to live in the same world created for those who have money. Zygmunt Bauman calls the new social order the order of control established by the top, the synopticon, when the majority watches the minority. The celebrities who may belong to the world of the elite in business, politics, sports, or show business. However, all celebrities are involved in the demonstration of the world of celebrities, the world whose main distinguishing feature is precisely the fact that they are watched by many people in all corners of the world. In a fantasy, desire to catch up with the world of the rich, tramps become the most suitable objects of reproach and scapegoats. The consumer market needs customers who want to be seduced. We see how in Chang-dong's film Hemi falls into the whirlpool of circumstances described by Zygmunt Bauman, which leads to her natural disappearance without any trace. Now I would like to turn to another section of inequality in society, namely disappearing periphery. Paju, the place where Jeonsu and Hemi are from, is located on the border of North Korea. From time to time, North Korean propaganda is heard from the loudspeakers there. This is very symbolic for the film Burning, since North Korea has always been a generalized image of the enemy, danger, the threat for South Koreans. It is no coincidence that the home of the two destitute heroes of the film is located on the very periphery, bordering on danger and possible tragedy. The small homeland of Jeonsu and Hemi personifies the most extreme boundary of life, beyond which death and complete destruction already occur. Halfway through the film Burning, Hemi arrives with Ben in her home village of Paju, only to find her childhood home destroyed. Jeonsu lives next door, but his affairs are not much better than those of the girl. His father's farm falls into despair, and Jeonsu sells the last calf. As in real life and in the space of cinema, it is impossible to imagine that disadvantaged youth will ever merge into the homogeneous society with the top of Korean society. The house cannot be restored in the way it was before, in the childhood of the heroes of the film. Also, the house cannot become a conflict-free cosmopolitan world where everyone will be fine. During a visit to Paju, Ben finds himself sitting in the dusty courtyard in the front of Jeonsu's house and politely remarks that he likes Paju. Hemi, not accepting this courtesy, replies, "Except for the smell of cow cotton." It is not difficult to guess that Paju, like thousands of other similar places in different parts of the world, is decreasing in the national and global landscape, economy and people's memory, becoming less and less significant even for the people who were born there. Speaking of social inequality, Zygmunt Bauman writes, upper class enjoy the fact that they can travel through life wherever they like and choose a destination depending on what pleasures they can get there. And the lower ones are sometimes simply thrown out from their native places, which they would never leave of their own free will. The first option is an example of freedom in the postmodern era. The second example is a version of postmodern slavery. When Jong-soo begins to suspect Ben of murdering Hemi, the director's camera pans between the well-paved streets of Sparking Seoul and the muddy roads through the Paju hills. Long drawn-out shots depicting rural roads testify to the huge distance between the squalor of rural life and urban wealth. Footage shows immensity that speaks not so much of the endless possibilities or simultaneous existence in Ben's different dimensions, but the all-consuming desperation in finding the girlfriend of Jong-soo.